If I wanted to attract healthy and loving relationships in my life, and I have a bad track record of relationships, say I have toxic relationships, say I'm a serial dater, say I am in and out of relationships and it just doesn't work out, I keep attracting emotionally unavailable men or women, say that is the story for me. If that is the story for me, the best way for me to not end up with those types of people anymore is to become a walking green flag myself. When I become the green flag, I don't have to memorize what all the red flags are. When I become healthy, I see the healthy. So the reason I'm in those bad relationships is because I have a bad relationship with myself. Yes, there are the abusive ones, but this is, hey, do I keep doing this? Is this a pattern for me? Is there something that I need to change? When you start to get to that point and you start to get curious, that means then you're ready to do that work to stop that pattern. But it doesn't mean that one day you're just all of a sudden going to get that great partner. Like, are you that great partner? Can you offer that yourself? The way to attract these healthy partners is to become the healthy partner, is to change who you were in that last relationship as much as possible, put yourself on the chopping block and go through all the character defects and character behaviors and change from who that person was. So I become a walking green flag, and then I don't keep attracting toxic people into my life. So if I attract emotionally unavailable people, yes, emotionally unavailable people will trick you at the start because that's a form of charm. That's a form of control. And nice people can fall for that all day long. There's nothing wrong with that. That's human. But the point is that I have an emotional issue. Like, to battle that means I have to get emotional about everything and start feeling. And I don't mean just feeling the good feelings. I mean, get so emotionally available that you can survive and live through all the bad feelings too. Like, start feeling guilty. Start feeling the guilt when you make mistakes. Start feeling and admitting when it's your fault. Like, get into that kind of recovery lane. Like, doing that kind of work is what gets you away from those emotionally unavailable people. If you are aggressive or dominating or controlling, you're emotionally unavailable. Like, there are all of these behaviors on top of who I am. And they're not who I am, but they protect who I am because I'm too scared to be who I am. And when I start working with others and I'm in a 12-step program and say I have a sponsored and I start doing this really deep inner work, I start working on the relationship with myself, and it's a process. So I have to have the healthy environment. I have to have the space and the consistency of the meetings. I have to have a higher power of my understanding. And then with all that work, I get to the place where I'm going to work on that relationship with myself. And when you get all the way down to that, and that relationship with yourself starts to grow, and you start to give permission to that person, that inner child, and you do all that work, when that person starts to emerge, then your relationships will start to materialize as well, where you'll start seeing that healthier people are coming around you, that your life is lighter, that you're not going into these toxic relationships anymore, that you're not making other people feel better and putting everybody else first and keeping them warm. You start keeping yourself warm. You start protecting your inner flame and listening to my feelings and start listening to my needs. And when I start to do that, then I see other people that listen to their feelings and needs. But I don't see that unless I listen to my own needs, my own feelings, and I start going for what I want. It's not till I go through that work of like getting myself really healthy that I see really healthy. It's almost impossible for me to see the really good health if I'm not the health myself. So it's like working on this for a long time of just like every transaction I have with people, places, and things in my life, and like those relationships, every transaction, like even on the phone or grocery lines or school lines, like, or, you know, the co-parents and friends, like if I start rewiring my brain, I start putting myself first instead of people pleasing, instead of not causing confrontation, but honoring the true compass. When that becomes my new way of life and thinking and norm, when that happens, that leads me to my authentic self. Like over time, if I keep consistently choosing that, I start getting used to feeling the fear and the discomfort. And that barrier is something that I have to go through to get to who I am. And it takes choosing the uncomfortable thing to do the right thing for myself in each moment. So like really learning about putting myself first instead of putting everybody else first. So like when there's something going on in a room and say things are getting heated, but like you want to, like you don't agree with something, like instead of not putting your hand up and you do put up your hand because you want to stick up for what you believe in, it's like choosing, like putting your hand up in those moments, like practicing that scary work and going through that fear and like getting into service and, you know, being a part of those business meetings and is a really safe place to start practicing how to use new behaviors, how to rewire your brain, like how to bring up topics that you're interested in, how to show up consistently, like how to make the program a priority in your life, like getting involved in service and then like, you know, sticking up for yourself or sticking up for what you believe in or saying, I think this should be like this, like start having an opinion. Because you're allowed to have an opinion. And it's just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean your opinion's wrong, because they're just going to disagree with you based off of their own story or perspective or thing they say in their head, like their own trauma and history is like everyone's just speaking from a different place. And there's actually very few people that are actually talking from an honest and authentic place, because most people are actually just people pleasing, right? But if you're looking to get to being authentic, it's like, okay, whatever thing comes up next for me, I'm going to choose what I want to do, even if they don't like it. Like the next person that, you know, wants to do this and I don't want to go to coffee to that place, I'm going to say and voice the place that I want to go. Like instead of being that compliant person that says, yes, whatever you want or choose, it's like, if that's one of your character behaviors, that's a character defect, it would be like practicing in that moment to be like, I am going to choose a thing that I need or want. And then practicing that and like keeping up with that, like make that the new internal boundary where I'm starting to choose to change, because like a step one, you do like a step one where like, I'm like this and I want to be like that. Like, okay, I've just named my truth. I accept that like this is like this and I want to be like that. So I'm doing my little step one. And then when I move on from that, basically I'll be faced with the next thing that comes up. I have to follow through with my new internal boundary of I'm choosing me first now, you know, or like keep it small and just like the next thing that happens, I choose me first in that scenario. And you might not that next time, but the goal would be I'm going to keep trying. And then, you know, for me, it'd be like, if I was trying that all day and I was still failing, I would probably go to my sponsor and I would say, I'm trying this and I'm not good at it and I need help. You know, maybe I need some help with my own accountability. Maybe my sponsor or friend have a different viewpoint that I could put myself up against and say, and maybe they can see something that I can't see. We'll try it like this. We'll try it like that. Like get vulnerable, ask for help, like really exercise that humility that like I shouldn't be doing everything on my own. Like I am better off when I'm connected to my people. and when I'm asking for help, because there is more than one viewpoint that's happening in my life. Like there's things that I don't see, there's things that other people see, there's things that God sees that I don't see, and there's things that I don't see to myself, right? So all of these things I don't see are kind of all the things I'm trying to see. And then there's just part of that I'm just going to have to trust and be blind to it until it is supposed to be revealed, until my higher power wants to reveal that. But if I'm trying to make changes in my life and I want to be a walking green flag and I want healthy and loving relationships, if I want emotionally available people in my life, then I need to get really emotionally available. I need to be figuring out what's my feelings all the time. Like practice feelings work, allowing myself to have feelings. So like if I have a fight with my spouse, instead of just going straight to exercise, that's okay, I'm just going to go for like really quick walk or like a run. Like I'm just going to, I'm going to go work on my project now. Instead of going to like distraction and work, it's like I need to go sit with myself for 5 minutes and practice feeling the feeling that got me there. Because a reaction or a feeling is going to show up, but there's actually other feelings that are happening down below. Like there's probably a loss, there's probably disappointment, there's something I'm fearful of. Like when I get to the root of that is when I can go all the way down and come all the way back up. And then I can work on my plan. Then I can go and do my exercising. But I can't go do my exercising if I'm mad until I have fully figured out why I'm mad first and had my mad feelings. Like say I'm screaming in a pillow, say I start getting upset and crying, like I'm disappointed. Maybe I need to go talk to my sponsor and then she tells me why I'm mad. Like maybe I don't even know why I'm mad. But the point is that I go sit with it for a good chunk of time because that's me listening to myself. That's me building a relationship with myself. And if I never make that a priority, I never give myself that time, I don't get to the root of the issue. I just put a Band-Aid on. Like when I just, forget about it and go to work, or I don't want to talk about this anymore and I never talk about it again, I'm just putting it aside. It doesn't mean it goes away. It means that there's something still there that has to be uprooted, that has to be looked at. And what happens over a long period of time is that I basically just take all of those bad seeds over many years and I suppress it with drinking, with, doing excessive activities, too much, working, like eating. Maybe I sleep all the time when I'm upset. Like if I'm always like covering up a feeling with a behavior to not feel, then over time I'm going to have a lot of things under there that need to come up and out. And that work of just on a daily basis practicing that, if I want to be who I am, if I want to be my authentic self, like I have to practice that feeling work, practice uprooting those things, practice getting to the issues. And that's building a relationship with myself. In every moment, I try to honor who I am. I try to listen to who I am, because that means I'm loving who I am, because I matter here. I count. I deserve to be heard, but I'm never going to be heard if I don't ever hear myself. I'm never going to be heard if I don't have those conversations with myself. So I need to be heard by me to be heard, basically. And that's like coming from all the way out and going all the way in is a way that I really get there. Like, I just think like that's part of the way that I got there. Like I quit the substance, like got into codependency work, and that, deleting that codependency stuff and like really working on that has changed my life. Like I had to get sober and I had to figure out what 12-step programs were. But I think when I got to like reparenting myself, listening to myself, becoming emotionally available, choosing the life that I wanted, my life started to become more meaningful, fulfilling. I started to learn who I was because I started listening to who I was. And then I started to like who I was. But I didn't like who I was when I was always people pleasing, when I was doing what you wanted and never choosing what I wanted, when I was complying, when I would invite, shame and anger towards myself, when I would attack other people and not have a good relationship and cause fights. Like, I didn't like who I was when I was doing that. I had to stop all of those things, one behavior at a time, over time. And sometimes behaviors that I did work on, they will still come up. Like, I still have to tend to my recovery on a daily basis and be connected, like connected to people, places, things, like, and my higher power, like working at my home life, working at my physical health, working at my spiritual health, working at my friendships. Like, I've had to comb through many things to take stuff out and put nice new things in, but gently lay the new bedding out, like lay the new soil. And after cleaning out a lot of things, I became very mindful of what I put back in my life, like slowly, intimately, and like nothing fast and intense, and have really slowed down. And it's been like, not only do I see things ahead, but I'm prepared for things that like I'm strong and sturdy and prepared for things that just come up. And it's like, when you get to that place of like, I'm okay to feel, like, now that I know how to feel, I can trust. I can handle myself in a situation. I have tools to call people. I have a program to lean on. I have this or that meeting to go to. Like, I'm built up from doing service work, because service work energizes me. It does not take from me. It adds to my life. And so, like, when you fill your whole recovery with all those things, you get an overflowing cup. And I'm here to tell you that. But like, it started with like being curious and going through the afterburn of people's reactions. Like, when I started to choose myself in situations, it was a process and a time of really getting, just going through feeling nervous and fearful of that people started to become very disappointed with boundaries, with what I wanted to do, because now I'm changing the life for them. Like, I'm not being as available to someone that's toxic. Like, with my change from going from an unhealthy circle to a healthy circle, it just makes other people upset. And that's just a part of it to get to who you are. And that's what I went through, but it doesn't feel like that forever. Like, now when I choose myself in situations, it's like, I actually don't feel overwhelmed with emotions. I just feel like, well, I chose for me, and that's great for me. I feel this and I want to do that, and move through the circumstance like with ease. And I know that because I trust myself and support myself, and I have support, things aren't as big and scary anymore. Right? But if I never choose myself and put myself first, then to do it one time with no support would be terrifying. So it takes time to build this kind of stuff up. And it's just, it's been life-changing. So working on codependency for me is, it's just really brought me to my authentic self. But I just love sharing that with people. So thanks for being here, guys. And I'll see you at the next one. Mwah.